Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going on, finally, about my choices for this month, since we have been kind of slowly been following a slow trail of Christmas movies, although some of them aren't entirely Christmas movies, but that's okay. It is what it is. But since I realized we had not actually gone on about the original Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I figured we might as well finally darn toot and cover it because it is so short and easy to watch. It's funny that we haven't even gotten to it, because I know that we did the live action with Jim Carrey, and then we also did the Grinch with one of Tammy's choices. So, and me, I tend to like to go towards doing the original stuff first and then moving for it. But this one we did chaotically backwards. Which is a shame in itself, but now we're finally covering it, so thank you this Christmas season. But in any case, let me bring up the IMDb page for this sucker. Let's see. Going backwards. Okay. So, this is directed by Chuck Jones and Ben Washam. It is written by Dr. Seuss and Herb Spector and Bob Ogle. Now, Dr. Seuss originally wrote the book in 1957. And believe it or not, it was released, or actually published in October. Believe it or not, October 12th of 1957. So I'm not surprised that it was released around the horror season, even though it was a Christmas book. And then later, the movie itself was put out in 1966. And the original animation is roughly about 26 minutes. So, that being said, this is what IMDb says about the short animation. A grumpy hermit hatches a plan to steal Christmas from the Who's of Whoville. Ugh. And the film stars Boris Barloff, who narrates it and voices the Grinch, Thurl Ravenscroft, and Jude Foray, among others like Dale McKinnon. So, why don't we go into first impressions? And let's start with you, Tammy. Was this a first time watch for you?
Oh no, I've seen it many a times over the years. So, and because I liked it, when these other Grinch movies have come out, I've wanted to check them out because, uh, you know, this is what started it all, so, um, but yes, I like it. It's fun. I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, it's the Grinch. It's part of Christmas, or it's become part of Christmas. You know.
Well, except for this Christmas, it doesn't seem to be playing anywhere.
Yeah, it
Uh,
seems like the other ones are playing, but not this one. But yes, I look forward to watching it every year. So and I make sure I can because I own it. So
Alrighty. Is that pretty much it for you then?
yep, there isn't really a whole lot to say about it, dear.
Alrighty. Heading over to you, Jake. Was this the first time watch for you?
Oh, absolutely not. This is definitely one that I can say I have no freaking clue when I first saw this because I probably really did grow up with this one. I might have been a very young child when I first saw it, or I may have been older. I don't know, but I was definitely watching this as a kid. I know that. I know that back in the day of network television, this was definitely a yearly special. Uh, and I've seen it many a time. I think my relation to the movie, my reaction to the movie has changed over the years. I probably went through a phase. I know I went through a phase where I probably didn't watch it as much because I kind of, oh, that's, cartoon, whatever. I went through that phase. I thankfully grew out of it, but it definitely, and my reaction to it has been different because as a kid, I think I probably enjoyed the "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" is a great song. It is a classic song, and I always enjoyed that. Um, I enjoyed seeing some of the shenanigans that the Grinch gets up to, and Max is such a cute dog and all that stuff. And then I probably it was probably during that time that I might not have been as interested in watching it that the Ron Howard one came out. And then I came back to it having been kind of having seen the Ron Howard version, but also having seen the reaction to that movie. Um, and I remember very distinctly that a lot of the critics at the time accused the movie Howard and Company of completely missing the point of the movie and the way, in particular, the way the Who's were presented, and so I came back to it kind of with that perspective, and then I don't think I ever actually read the book, strangely enough, until I was working at the library. And now I've read the book a couple of times. It's it's a very quick read. And this version is extremely faithful. It is and one of the cool things about this is there's the potential to learn something new. I actually did not realize that Dr. Seuss produced this version. When you look at the credits, it said Ted Geisel, and of course his given name was Theodore Geisel. I had no idea that he was actually a producer on this. So he was very much involved, and it definitely has his fingerprints all over it. And Dave, I'm going to say I'm actually very appreciative that you put this forward this year, because this is easily the most appropriate choice this season for my personal relationship with the Christmas season this year. Dr. Seuss, this was one of the bones of contention that people had with the Ron Howard version, was how materialistic the Who's were in that version. And it is completely missing the point of the film, which of course we'll get to as we talk about it. But I have been going through for months, as I've talked about on the channels, I've been going through an extended, you might say, crisis of faith when it comes to stuff of any kind, which includes physical media. And I've been very open with people this Christmas. I am not wanting to participate in the commercialization of Christmas. And so for me, this movie, this is the perfect time to talk about this movie. So I definitely came at it a little bit different than usual. But yeah, I think I probably did see it last year. I've probably seen it the last couple of years. This hasn't been a long gap since my last viewing, but it definitely hit a little different from before. And certainly glad I had a chance to I actually technically saw it twice, although we watched it at Brandon's. And when we watch stuff at Brandon's, we don't really get to watch it. So I definitely put it on again the next night. So, but I kind of sort of saw it twice this time. And so it's definitely fresh in the brain.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that pretty much your first impressions then?
Oh, well, again, I couldn't even tell you my first impression. It's definitely my current impression.
Okay. Current is acceptable.
Yeah.
But in any case, heading over to you, Brandon. Was this the first time watch for you?
Of course. I've never seen this before in my life. I mean,
Good.
First
Grinch.
It's my first Christmas film ever. No. When I first saw The Grinch in black and white, because that was the TV we had back when I was really young. Not because I'm that old necessarily, but because we really didn't have the money to afford a color TV until my father saved up. Because my mother wasn't going to spend her money on it, and he didn't really have to pay bills in the household, so he saved his money up and got the color TV. But this one was a really neat one to watch as a kid. I don't remember exactly my first viewing or impression, but as a kid, I loved Dr. Seuss. And this was one of those books that I really liked. And so the Chuck Jones animation style was one I was very used to because of Looney Tunes. Mm-hmm. And I will say that Chuck Jones is definitely a quintessential piece of our history as far as animation history. And this one really, to me, is my favorite version. I know that one of the reasons why the Grinch is not as there's the Jim Carrey one has definitely taken the place as the quintessential Grinch movie. Well, I mean, Dane proved that also by us covering that movie a while back. But yeah, the idea of it being that one that is the ideal one. But I do agree with Jacob. It kind of missed the mark. The point was that the Who's were to appear to be materialistic. But in reality, yes, the material things were fun, but it was just a part of enjoying the holiday. It was not what made the holiday. And it seemed like in this one the Who's had to learn the lesson just like the Grinch did. And that just loses its effect a bit because that's part, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we get to the end.
Yep.
This, while I do enjoy the materialistic side of Christmas, I like the lights, I like the stuff like that. I'm not disillusioned like Charlie Brown, which is another one, by the way, that I'm sure that if you watch it again this year, that would vibe with you, Jacob. The Charlie Brown malaise is very much on your level.
Yeah.
I can also say that as somebody whose Christmas had meant a lot to me growing up, because it was the time of year. I wasn't bullied. I wasn't beaten up. I wasn't all that stuff when I was younger that way. It was a time of family, of joy. Now, most of the family are dead or separated. I've got like maybe 3 instead of like dozens. And I still hold on to a lot of those memories. And this one brings back a lot of those. So it's a part of that classic time. Maybe it's just nostalgia. But I still think it's a very well-made and executed short.
I definitely think so too. I'm coming at it from watching it in several different sides of the family, and I remember watching it on the TV when you could still see like fuzziness and like a VHS quality to it, where it wasn't so clean and whatnot. You know, I believe that we may have actually had a VHS copy of this as well, just because it was well loved by us kids. But I remember it coming on and every Christmas. And to me, this particular short film, even though it's so short, you can blink and it's over. But I feel like this was the quintessential, and I came at the Jim Carrey one as much of the critics did. I love Jim Carrey as an actor. He can be so sassy and sarcastic and really piss people off. But I almost couldn't see him in the role at first. But when it took me a while to warm up to him in the role, just because, you know, I was so used to this version, you know. So I guess for many of these years, while the Ron Howard version has been out for a few years to definitely make it stand.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been. I feel like the Ron Howard one has been mass marketly shown just to try to cancel out this one, you know.
I just had a thought that really makes me feel old, but also does help explain how people think of it as the version. And that is that the Ron Howard movie now has been out long enough that people who were born after it came out are adults with their own kids. It's like, ugh.
Right.
Old.
Well, and I grew up with a lot of Boris Karloff in a lot of films, going backwards to the Universal monsters and whatnot. And it wasn't until I had actually gotten a series that you know, he narrates and hosts just like Alfred Hitchcock. He did a series called Thriller, which is the way he hosts it at first. He's like, this is a thriller, You know, the way he hosted it reminds me of the way he talked in this short film. You know, and of course, halfway through the series of Thriller, he got rid of that tagline that he said because I think he got tired of saying it. But it still was a phenomenal anthology series that um, I hope it eventually gets a Blu-ray. But right now it's got a DVD set or whatnot. But in any case, going back this one, I enjoy this every single year. I at least give it a watch. I always feel sorry for Max because he always gets put through the worst fucking shit, you know. But this is short, sweet, and to the point, and that's
Poor Max
how.
gets it in every version.
Yeah, it's in every version. He treats him like crap. Although the Grinch one, and that one's a little bit more PG-13 than I would like, but in any case, um, other than that, love the animation. Jones, he is a historical director on animation. I believe he's done a lot of the Woody Woodpecker stuff, if I remember correctly. And
I think so.
and definitely a lot of our animations in the Looney Tunes, I think, from time to time. So, but in any case, hopefully, but let's go into, I think, oh, well, let's go into what it's about a little bit. So, if you haven't seen The Grinch or anything, it's basically about. I almost feel like it's fairly similar to like the Time Machine people. Like there's the Eloy and the Morlock. Just like the Grinch lives above, and the Who's live below. You know, so I feel like there's an analogy there that I'm trying to say just a little bit, just because he lives up top and they live below, and we don't get any backstory or anything in this animation, but he hates the Who's and everything they stand for.
I played the backstory of the Grinch for Jacob at the party last night. He's given coal at the wrong time.
Yeah, that was an interesting take. Yeah.
But you don't get a backstory in this short feature. All you know is that he hates how the Who's get ready and prepared for their Christmas season, and we don't know why. But he just wants to go down there and take it from them, and he thinks that he does. But when they still continue to do exactly the same darn shit that they always do, he's surprised, in fact astonished, that they still carry on as if nothing ever happened, and that it came without everything else, and that's pretty much what it's all about. It's not about the presents and the food and all that. It's about a little bit more, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's got a message and a morality to it, and I think that that's kind of what it was all about, and that's why people think that Ron Howard entirely missed it.
Yeah, and in a way, you could say there are people who really swear by it. I wish Dean was on for this one because he was one of those that loved that movie. But then again, I mean, I think about it. The Grinch came out in 1960. Was it 66?
This particular one, yes, it was 1966.
So I was negative. Let's see here, 13 when it came out. Negative 13.
Negative 13.
And
I was -6.
so I mean, but if we went by that, somebody born, somebody who would be born 13 years after the Jim Carrey's Grinch, that would be 2013. So we're only talking 13 years back from me. A little bit more for some, a little bit less for others. That's kind of worrisome in my own thoughts. So that's actually longer back now to somebody who was born to the Jim Carrey one than it was back from where I was at that. Yeah, I feel like it's getting old. 25 years old that one is.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think that way, and nowadays Jim Carrey's kind of a recluse, so it's kind of weird thinking how outlandishly like out there his comedy was, and
Yeah.
now he like hides himself behind his portraits,
Well, until the next Sonic movie, which apparently he loves doing those, so he keeps coming out for that.
Evidently.
Yeah. I think he kind of, he definitely is not interested in being part of the usual hustle and bustle.
No, but Hollywood will do that to you.
Mhm.
But in any case, let us go into production. What did we think about production overall?
Oh, damn, we didn't even talk about the end of the story or anything.
Well, did we want to talk about the end of the story?
I mean,
so the end of the let's talk about that ending.
Short, but not that short.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even realize we were doing the plot synopsis yet.
We're at the end.
All right. Well, what do we think about what has happened so far? I've kind of gone through a bit of it. What do we think about the Grinch as a character?
He is an interesting character, and one thing I somehow neglected to mention in my intro, my thumbnail there is a little bit small, but you can see. But it's that great picture of Max did something silly, and the Grinch looks at the camera with this fool look on his face. He has some of the best expressiveness in this movie. And one of the all-time best samples that I know we talked about when we covered Home Alone, one of the all-time best samples of any movie of another movie is in Home Alone 2 when they show the Grinch get that really evil grin and fade immediately to Tim Curry doing the same thing. And I can't unsee Tim Curry. And I think someone said today, what if they had made the Grinch with Tim Curry in the role? And I'm like, it would have been so awesome if they did it right. But
that would have been totally cool. I like Tim Curry.
Right.
Yeah.
But the basic idea being that the Grinch is the way he's illustrated in this. This is a very rough animation. It's very old school. It's not pretty, but in terms of the expressiveness of the character and everything, it really makes him a lot more fun probably than he would have been even otherwise. And again, for me this time around, I appreciate where he's coming from in a way I don't think I ever have before. Because even though he's misreading things, he doesn't understand the Who. He doesn't understand what they're actually celebrating. Even so, I can kind of look at it and go, well, I can see how he's seeing what he's seeing, and I can't really disagree with it. You know?
Well, yeah, all he thinks about the whole thing is that it's just noise, 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 noise.
Right.
Well,
Which-
if he
which
were part of
granted-
this,
Granted, that was a lot of noise.
if he were part of the celebration and the understanding of it all, I wonder if he would do like a total 180 and
Well, he
like,
did.
They did.
well, I know he did. I know he did, but
Well, we were watching the behind the scenes, and they were talking about the same thing about his facial, and he said one of the best parts of it was when the Grinch, when he got an idea, and he got a very
a wonderful, awful idea.
You're right, and he got that grin. And the grin got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then his little hair on the top of his head. And they said they were talking about that particular part of the animation, how it just made it was just that particular moment, So I'm talking about how that they did I don't know who exactly did that part of the animation. I mean, I know who it was. It was based on Dr. Seuss, but whether he drew it like that or if they extended it like that or whatever, or if they did it together, because when we were watching the back behind the scenes,
yeah,
we knew that they collaborated together on it,
yep.
So
Yeah, because initially when Dr. Seuss first started out, when he did all of his rhyming and everything like that I think he also did his own animation of the characters themselves as well.
right,
So
he did drawing, but then
he ultimately had to have help with animating them in this short movie project, and I think they hit it on the nail the way that they needed to.
right,
The
'cause,
expressions on the Grinch's face.
Oh, no doubt.
Dr. Seuss's wife, I think it was his wife, had said, it's one thing to draw it, it's another thing to make it come to life. In the animation. So he needed a little help with making it come from just in a story.
What did we think about the Who's themselves? Were they caricatures of a different type of people?
Well, we see the Who's out of the Grinch's point of view. I mean, if you really look at it, we're not looking at them as they are necessarily, which is what's meant to be done. I think it's really kind of expert at that. We are actually approaching this film from the point of view of the Grinch, which is one of the things I think that's why discussing the plot is very relevant, because that is a very neat thing. And a lot of people don't realize that all of our point of view is, we're told he's a terrible person or whatever they are, but otherwise we're seeing it from his point of view, all of it. We're just watching them play with their stuff,
Right.
Have like these giant feasts and gorging themselves, and apparently they all like to play with their stuff as loudly as humanly possible in one room.
Right.
And of course the designs are as lovely a design as you can get from Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss knows how to design characters in a weird, fanciful way to make them very interesting to look at. But we're seeing this and we're looking at these characters and we're seeing them a lot like I guess Ron Howard saw them, as these materialistic creatures that just, they care only about stuffing themselves and celebrating. So as from a hermit on top of the hill who doesn't interact with anybody, I think it's really cool. And he never really sees them or gets to know them for who they really are. Who?
I do. Well, go ahead.
Until the end of the movie. Like I say, I don't really think of the Grinch as an evil character. I think of the Grinch as an individual who has just been kind of a hermit, and he looks at these people. He doesn't see these good, loving people. He sees a bunch of materialistic assholes,
Right?
who just want to
psychotic morons who just want to make as much noise as possible and disturb his fucking peace.
Yeah.
And that's why at the end he changes. Sorry.
I do have to say, I probably wanted to throw in here. I probably did watch this at one time or another with my dad, because I know my dad always was like, Dr. Seuss, and he got a kick out of anything Dr. Seuss. My dad did. When I first met my father, I was 12. Okay, but my half brother and sister were 2 and 4 when I met my dad. So of course my dad was all into this, because they were so young,
Yeah.
And he just loved Dr. Seuss. So
Oh, shoot. I was read I think it was Wacky Wednesday. My mother read that book to me so many times as a kid. That book was just totally destroyed by the end of it.
the first one I remember is the Horton.
Horton Hears a Who?
Yeah.
The first one I remember is Green Eggs and Ham.
I remember my dad talking about that. He goes, and he get like a weird tone or whatever. He want some green eggs and ham, and he'd walk around in the house in the morning and make everybody laugh.
The weird thing for me is that I grew up knowing who Dr. Seuss was, and I definitely grew up with a familiarity, vaguely, of the. And I know we read The Cat in the Hat, and probably more than once. I know that was a favorite. But honestly, I have no clear memory that we read any of the other books.
I remember reading One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish at one point in time. And I remember
the Cat in the Hat.
I remember The Cat in the Hat, but I remember watching the cartoon of The Cat in the Hat better. And then the live action came out of that, and I was not interested in that at all.
I heard most people weren't.
God, that horrible abomination of a movie that they put out with.
They just did not get it right. I mean, my favorite Dr. Seuss special was Pontiful Puck. Where the heck are you? There's just something about that animation. It's so fucking weird. Weird. The characters are weird, but regardless, I don't think that
Lorax.
I find it really weird that I don't even think I knew about the Lorax growing up. I was introduced to it in college. And of course it has become a favorite of mine. But yeah, I don't think I even knew about it growing up. It's weird.
Well, Dr. Seuss was actually quite political, if you look at it. I mean, he wrote political cartoons back during World War II. which
I mean, there
are very
was
eerie to look at
And
today.
there are a lot of thematic similarities between the Grinch and the Lorax.
Yeah.
there was a live action movie called The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T that was put out and produced by Dr. Seuss, and the guy that played the Professor T or whatever was played by the same voice actor as Captain Hook from the animated Peter Pan. So I remember this thing. I saw it along with two other outer space movies. I believe I saw it on a taped VHS with Forbidden Planet and The First Men in the Moon. And then I watched this one as the third feature. And I remembered the little boy, and he had a little five-finger golden yellow hand in a hat on top of his head. And I was like, this is weird, you know? But to me, the world of Dr. Seuss is definitely large. It had an extended life with certain things, you know. I remember our high school reading the things you can think at the end of our graduation.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's a lot to him that people really didn't get a lot of. And it is sad to see some of the stuff misinterpreted up and down, but it's still
or even banned. I mean, I heard a couple of them were banned from schools.
Well, there's a lot of stuff banned from schools. I mean, some schools have banned anything that is written by people of a certain race or sexual orientation. So, you know, schools can ban anything. It's just kind of weird to see a lot of this stuff. And I think people don't realize where he stood in a lot of things, but you can see it in a lot of this. And I think that materialism that he saw was a lot like anybody else who's disillusioned with things. They see that. But when they see that there is more to it, that the materialism is just a piece of it, that they are able to do something. All right. I feel like that was a thing there. All right.
I never could understand why people would want to ban Dr. Seuss. You know, I still don't get it.
It wasn't really Dr. Seuss. It was just particular books with racial stereotypes in it, and they didn't want that in schools with kids.
Well, I think recently, if I'm not mistaken, his estate voluntarily rescinded a few of them.
Yeah, the ones that are the troublemakers, his estate agreed with because they felt like they didn't hold up in that manner.
Yeah.
But they're still available. You can still get them if you want them.
But I never thought of them as being any of his stuff as being that way.
And again, it's I'm not as off put by it. I think that stuff like that is not a big deal if you let people understand the context of it. But when you're like 5 or 6, you don't really understand the context of that stuff. You know, I mean, there are people who believe that you are grown at 5, but I don't think so.
It just seems nowadays people read into things.
But like I say,
you know, it's just
It's just like the concept of the film The Santa Claus, when you see Neil and the mom talk about when they stopped believing in Santa Claus. You know,
Weenie whistle.
yeah.
To me, it was the mystery date, the weenie whistle.
Yeah, that movie was interesting to rewatch. I haven't rewatched that. I had not rewatched that one in a couple of years.
But
Yeah.
but back to the cartoon. Now, what do we think about Cindy Lou Who? I thought she was really cute.
Right.
I thought when she came out, she was fairly tiny, and she's the one that noticed like him when he was stuffing the Christmas tree up the fireplace. And
He's
what
just
did we think
prepared.
about his little lie?
Well, I mean, she's a kid. She believe it.
She did.
Yep.
She's basically, I guess, his way to. She sort of helps him realize that. What am I trying to say? She is his first direct interaction with Who for many years, and it's a very positive one, and it actually kind of puzzles him. And of course, the once the things happen the next morning, that really helps. I guess you could say wake him up to what's really going on. But I think his interaction with her is a necessary first step to that.
Yeah. I think we all get this picture painted for us, and you could actually paint that today. Is that we get this picture painted for us of what these people we don't interact are.
Yeah.
These are people who are bloodthirsty killers. These are people who will rob you, take you down. These are criminals. These are etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell it to you like this. There's an old lady who in Milwaukee was known was always considered to be a witch. She had all kinds of stone statues in her garden. She's dead now, but for many years, many people always referred to her as a local witch, when in fact she was in fact an art history professor that just so happened to sculpt things in her spare time.
Yeah.
It's just that most people always thought that she was a much darker personality.
Well, I mean, look at Home Alone.
You see strange things in her yard, and they think, "Oh, witch,"
Right.
Look at Home Alone with the guy who saves Kevin at the end. Sorry for spoiling Home Alone for people who haven't watched it yet, which...
and they do the same thing with the bird lady in the second movie.
Man, Jacob, you spoiled it for those people.
Oh.
People who haven't watched it.
Well, actually, it's kind of funny you talk about spoiling Home Alone. I saw an interview a couple days ago with Macaulay Culkin, and he was talking about how his kids watch the movie and they call it Kevin, and they have no idea it's him. He doesn't want to tell them yet. He's trying to find the right time. It's like that would be an interesting conversation to have.
What's interesting is I think he's got the right way of thinking to deal with his kids in most things, even though he is kind of a weirdo at this day and age,
Yeah.
I mean, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
I can't really, blame him for that.
He says that he had some terrible abuse going on in his childhood or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things he always, he recently said in an interview, I think, was the fact that his parents never told him how proud they were of him. And that's one thing that he always makes sure. Like if one of his kids is in a recital, and okay, maybe they get out onto the stage and have stage fright. And immediately after they come down from the stage, he tells them how proud he was of them.
And by the way, now that y'all have had Home Alone spoiled for you, why don't go to our discussion about Home Alone, and that way you can hear the whole thing and have it all spoiled by us.
I was going to say, you can get.
Although we didn't do the second one, so maybe we'll have to accomplish that next year.
It's on the list, definitely.
But in any case, moving forward, what do we think about the ending of this movie?
Well, I know I've said my piece, so I'll leave that to y'all.
I mean, you know, that's really where you get the, you know, you have the Grinch steals everything. He realizes his mistake once he starts hearing the singing, and he's like, "What? They should be sad, not glad." You know,
It came without bows and buttons and strings.
yes, and yes, Christmas came just the same, you know, and that's when he, you know, the heart grows 3 sizes that day, and he gained the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2.
What was that about that you had said about the Grinch Happy Meal? That they
Yeah. I think it was Colbert made a joke like McDonald's is doing a Grinch Happy Meal, which is another shocking abuse of the ideas behind it. And they said, yes, if you have an adult Happy Meal, your heart probably will grow 3 sizes. But which I can't dispute that. But it was, and then of course, you know, he comes down and he becomes the honored guest at the table, which again, you know, the Who's must be some really forgiving people.
Well, yeah, it does seem like they are some really forgiving people. Like right off the bat, they're like,
Right.
They're like, here, we'll sit you at the head of the table. Here, pass the meat.
Carve the roast beef. And it's not just that he returned everything. They show him destroying stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he would have been returning stuff that was destroyed. And it's like, okay, well, good on y'all, you know. It's,
well, but that's the high idea of it all.
Yeah.
The Who's are, it's like I said, it's like we said before, that we see the film from the Grinch's perspective and don't see them for who they are fully until the end of the movie. We're much like they are, like he is. We don't fully see what's going on. The only reason why we know the Grinch is totally the bad guy in this is because there's a song in the thing and the whole narration's telling us how evil he is through the whole thing. So yeah, you know, but yeah, that's the thing is that we see that they're actually really good people, that they value togetherness, right. They value family, they value the spirit of the season.
There's like that lyric in the song is something like
you're as cuddly as a walrus.
No, the other song. It's like as long as there's a hand to clasp, you know, heart to heart, and yeah. And and I feel really bad that I am blanking on the lyrics there because they are important to the plot. But it's but yeah, like I said, the ultimate thing here is that I think we already said, but it's the ultimate idea is that the presents are nice, but they're not why they're celebrating in the first place, and that's big lesson.
I believe they're just celebrating the gift of life and the fact that they're together.
Yeah, togetherness more than anything.
Exactly.
It's one thing I've been telling people this season is that I'm definitely all about Christmas as a time for family and friends, and that hasn't changed. I think that's kind of the core of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we, I think the whole of it is if we let things get out of hand with how we see the world and how we see ourselves, we could all become the Grinch at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is tempting.
And I do know people who have reached a relatively good old age who are definitely some whippersnappers with their wit and their wisdom.
Unfortunately, we don't really have a Mount Crumpet here in the RVA.
I
No matter what Pocahontas tells you.
I was going to say, you just need to find that waterfall that she jumped on. I think it would be, I think it would be tall enough that you could definitely scale.
Yeah.
It's hiding somewhere behind a tall building.
Hiding very, very well. It's a ninja mountain.
But at the end of everything, what do we think about the production overall?
I mean, I think it's some of the best animation that I've seen. It's too bad we don't. I should have remembered to invite Brittany on this because she's a good one for discussing the animation. But the animation on this, well, Chuck Jones is a master of his craft. He really is one of the quintessential animation people. I mean, he's right up. I mean, to me, Chuck Jones is right up there with Disney, right up there with a lot of these people doing this. And I mean, Walt Disney, he did some work himself, but of course, even he was not alone in the creation of things like Mickey Mouse and all that. He had partners that helped him with the creation. Of course, that's not how he wanted to.
Right.
I have that shown.
Well, I will say that this is, after all, a special from the 60s that was produced for television. It did not have an enormous budget. I think, given what they had to work with, they did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I think it's held up better than some of the specials from that time.
Yeah. Well, look at the animation on this compared to, say, the Charlie Brown one.
Exactly.
I think the production was really good, especially for its time, you know.
Shoot, even these days it holds up.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, it doesn't look bad.
To me, even on the special edition DVD, it looks pretty crisp.
The expressions on the face. I mean, the expression on the Grinch alone is well worth that because, I mean that thing where he does the smile, all the individual movements you see in the animation, that took a lot of work to do.
Right.
There was a lot to this one.
I think part of the reason I think the animation is good too is it was something different even at the time. You know, his animation looked different than a lot of the cartoons and stuff that were out. You know, he was totally different. And
I like the fact that it was Boris Karloff that voiced him. I mean, it helps that you have that creep factor of Boris Karloff behind him because he got some of the sarcasm that the Grinch had, you know.
Well, he does a really good job with the line delivery, not just the limited voice acting, but just the narration, which is a skill unto itself. You could be a really horrible narrator, or you could be a good one, and he comes off as a really good one. And then of course we got the classic song, where Thurl Ravenscroft just nailed the delivery of the song too.
Old Tiger himself.
Yeah. And I gotta say, this was another thing that was a little different this time around. I think I probably noticed it before, but I feel like I noticed it more this time. Just the sheer amount of British idioms and slang included in that song. It's like, okay, this was clearly written by a Brit. And I didn't really notice that fully before. And I'm like, that's kind of fun. It's like helping kids learn something they might not have heard otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the production overall is pretty darn good for its time myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I think what my idea of the Grinch ultimately stems from this. So I am ultimately glad to own a copy of this. I have it on a collection of sorts. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's a nice, decent collection. I think
Yeah.
the Grinch and the Huber Gloob. There are several other Grinch
Oh yeah.
short films
Um,
out there
I
besides
mean,
this one.
one of the things I plan on doing for Halloween this year, I rarely plan ahead because I like to give myself time to, because I could change my mind a lot of times. Why I haven't even planned my birthday, but this one has been in my mind for the last 3 to 4 months, which is to do ever since we set the Grinch, or ever since I'd hoped that we were going to do the Grinch original animation, I'd said to myself, if I do that, I'll do another pair of shorts for Halloween. And so my pick for Halloween is going to be the Charlie Brown, Great Pumpkin, because we've done the Christmas one, and then pair it with the Grinch Halloween special, which is the other one I remember from the Grinch for the most
I
part.
don't think I knew there was a Grinch Halloween special.
Oh yeah,
Yep, there's a Grinch Halloween special, and then I believe there's the Grinch and the Huber Bloob Highway.
yep.
I think
That's been a long time since I've seen that one.
I didn't know
so.
those existed either.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to watch them one of these days. But I have all these other short films that have to do with Dr. Seuss that maybe I'll have to share with you one of these days.
I know I've got a few of them, and they're obviously have the Lorax, and I think I have the Bitter Butter Battle, and like one or two of the others. I don't know.
But in any case, did anyone have? Uh, uh, okay, I know we said a little bit about the music because it's just iconic. The song. And there's not really much else. There's not there is there a score for it?
There is a score, but
Yeah.
Nothing that that wows me entirely. I think the song is the thing that means the most to me.
Well, they also tie the song through several parts of the special. Like they play it in bits and pieces. And so it's kind of a through line already. They don't really need a lot of additional music.
The composer is Eugene Podany, and I guess they are known for Fireman Saved My Child, How to Be Very Very Popular. They were behind the music of the 1970 Horton Hears a Who.
yeah.
Definitely a lot to do with some additional music with How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
And there were 3 songs in the whole thing. I mean,
True.
we forget about the first one that they sing at the Who sing at the very beginning,
Right.
which is just them like really excited getting ready for Christmas.
Right. And then they have they have like they have the hymn, the carol, I guess you could call it. And then they have like the more the getting ready. I guess you could call it the getting ready for Christmas song. Let's see, what are the titles on those? I don't remember. There, yeah. They got Welcome Christmas. So obviously, that's a Welcome Christmas /
Dahu Gorhave, Dahu Gorhave. Yeah, that one.
Okay, so yeah, I guess it's Welcome Christmas / Trim Up the Tree.
Yep.
Is their assortment of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do favorite scenes and our favorite character editors. for How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starting with you, Brandon. Oh, let's go with you, Jake, and then we'll go back to him.
Favorite scenes and/or characters?
Yep.
Well, I mean, honestly, the Grinch is the one who's best fleshed out in this one.
Okay.
One could argue Max and Cindy Lou are like the other characters, really. I would probably go with the Grinch as my favorite one.
Okay.
As far as favorite moments, the song that You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is absolutely iconic, and most of the scenes where it's playing, and again the facial expressions that this full expression that he had at one point, and the one where he had that awful, wonderful idea, I love just the facial expressions, so we'll go with those.
Okay. What about you, Tammy? Favorite scenes and our favorite characters?
I like Max.
Okay. So you don't like the Grinch at all?
Well, I like the Grinch, but I like Max. Poor little guy.
You don't like that one little antler?
The what?
The one little antler that he puts on top of his head?
That's so sad. It's too big for him.
He couldn't find a reindeer, so he made a reindeer.
But I do have to agree with Jake about the facial expressions and everything. That's a big part of the things that I do that I liked. The scenes that I liked. If you had to be a particular one, I guess when he had to come up with his little lie really quickly for little Cindy Lou, that whole little scene right there.
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
Was it favorite scene
and favorite character?
Well, I'll give it to the Grinch. The Max is my second favorite.
Right.
As far as my favorite scene, I kind of like the whole concept of him getting having that like change of heart. That's just kind of cool, where he gets that heart growing and he just lifts it up after he realizes, oh crap, I'm going to throw that thing over the mountain.
Okay. Is that pretty much it then?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to go with the Grinch as my favorite. He's just sarcastic enough and incentful enough to try to steal Christmas from these noisy little creatures below, and they aren't all little, but it looks like a lot of them are, although they can pack quite a bit inside their teeny little stomachs, but that being said,
well,
favorite scene.
We need to we need to cover the mean one next year. You want to cover all the Grinches?
I have not seen that yet. I'll have to get that one for real eventually. But favorite scene, I'm gonna have to say his expressions when he gets that awful idea. I just love that immensely evil grin that he got and then right afterwards you see him sew up the Santa suit, and it was pretty much a montage of him getting ready. It didn't take him long, at least in this one. So, other than that, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion on that particular film. So, two of the night is the other. This next one was a longer feature.
Yeah.
And
Still on the short side, but
Flintstone.
You can blend the two.
Chris-
You want a full feature.
Christmas Carol, which I actually didn't realize it was a '90s thing,
Yeah.
at the time. But let me say what IMDb says about the film. Fred is cast as Ebenezer Scrooge in a stage adaptation of the story, but is acting a bit stingy in real life. So this is called A Flintstones Christmas Carol. It is directed by Joanna Romersa. It is written by Glenn Leopold with a spot of Charles Dickens. It stars Harry Corden, who often voiced Flintstone himself. Gene Vander Pill, Frank Welker. Gene Vanderpill was the voice of Wilma, and to be fair and honest, she actually kind of looks like her too. And then we got Frank Welker, who voiced Barney Rubble, often voiced him, and B.J. Ward, who voiced Betty Rubble. Which, to be fair and honest, I actually kind of, if I had a cartoon hottie that I kind of thought was kind of hot, I would think that Betty Rebel was the hot one. But as far as live action movies, how the hell could they have gone with Rosie O'Donnell? But anyways,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But we got Russie Taylor, who played Pebbles Flintstone. We got Don Messick, who voiced Bam Bam. John Stevenson, who voiced Mr. Slate. Marsha Clark, who did Megan Magna. Will Ryan, who did Nephew Ned. Brian Cummings, who did The Ghost of Christmas Present. Renee Levant, who did Phyla Quartz. John Rhys Davies,
who
voiced Charles Brickens. Which that one kind of surprised me. Seeing that. Rip Taylor played Venus Flytrap, and there were some additional voices. But let's go around the room and see who. Let's go with Tammy again as first dibs on first impressions. Was this a first time watch for you?
I thought I'd seen it before, but as we were watching it, I realized I didn't. So it was the first time. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it really kept pretty close to the story. I mean, of course, you had like a little background story going on too. But I mean, when it got to the actual doing the story itself, I thought they did a good job of staying basically with the story, which was cool for a cartoon.
Just imagine this is a cartoon version of the coronavirus. No offense, because the bedrock bug.
Oh, okay. I was like, where are you coming from? But now I get it. But yeah. I actually didn't think it was as long as it was, but that's okay.
No, I didn't remember it being that long either. To be fair and honest, I forgot it was actually a feature length film. You know,
But
in fact, often times if a film is like 45 minutes long, it's a feature length film. So
Yep.
well, yeah, I found it fun and enjoyable.
okay,
I like seeing different versions.
yeah, I do too. I like the Christmas Carol story immensely. So seeing it differently in different ways is different. Brandon, did you want to say whether you had actually seen this or not?
Oh, I haven't seen this one before. The, I mean, I could tell what era this came from because I was a teen during the time this was out, so I probably wouldn't have watched it originally. But still, I do remember. I don't remember this, but I know the animation style because they used to really amp up that. There's something. It's very different in the proportions that they have for the characters. The voice acting's a little bit easier. I mean, a little bit different. If you understand what I'm saying, they have different voice actors and actresses for them. So there was a little bit of difference there, and
Although Fred pretty much still remained the same. That's the same guy who did it all the way in the beginning, except for I
except for
think
the
in a
first
man
season.
called Flintstone.
But I mean, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fairly good. It took me back a little bit to those early 90s days because a lot of the animation was very similar to the early 90s and mid 90s. So, I was thinking back. There's a reason why I was thinking about a pup named Scooby Doo and the Flintstone kids because it reminded me of that era. And of course, then again, I also watched all the Flintstones Christmas specials because I figured why not? This will be a good time to break them out.
So were those Christmas specials on the same disc that this
The
was
other,
on?
not on this one. The one I got. This one had this one. It had the Yogi Bear Christmas special, and it had the Smurfs one, which is the only Smurfs thing I own. But as far as this one, I mean, the other two I had were on the Christmas special disc, which it had two of the three on it. Which, of course, other than the fact that they're celebrating a holiday that hasn't been there yet, which always entertains me there. It was fairly interesting for me, and I did enjoy it. I was surprised at how much this one reminded me of the Mr. Magoo Christmas special. There's a lot of similarities between the two, except for Mr. Magoo did that in a lot earlier. But it did remind me a lot of that, where Mr. Magoo was actually acting in a play as Scrooge, which was kind of funny. And same here, except they did make a big deal about how Fred being over obsessed with his part was making him just as evil and nasty as Scrooge, which I felt was a little bit of overdoing it. But, otherwise, it was decent enough. I enjoyed it somewhat. I think this would have been fun to watch as a kid if it had come out maybe about maybe 4 years earlier. This was 94. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if it came about 4 years earlier, maybe 3 years earlier, but that would be about the tops. I probably would have really gone for it a lot more when I was there.
Okay.
Just missed me by a couple of years.
Alrighty. What about you, Jake?
This is definitely a first time for me. I never saw this one before. Honestly, I'm not even sure I was aware that it existed.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. Interestingly enough, this came out the same year as the live action movie, which I did know existed. And I do know that, like, I grew up watching the Flintstones. They were definitely something that I had seen. Wow, I didn't realize Halle Berry was in that movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Must have been one of
Very young Halle Berry.
Yeah, must have been one of her very first ones. And Gene Vanderpyle was in that. They had some interesting, but I remember because I was a fan of Rick Moranis at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I was becoming better versed to John Goodman. And I know that the movie was supposed to be like his first big star vehicle, and it kind of set him back a few years because people did not like the movie.
I actually saw the movie in the theater. I was not one of those people.
Yeah. I never have seen it all the way through, but I think it may be partly because that movie was so much in the public consciousness that a side project might slip by. You know what I mean? And I agree with Brandon. I was probably just a little bit too old to have been anywhere close to the target audience for this special. But I think I probably would have noticed it or heard about it under different circumstances. But I just never found my way back to it. The Flintstones are one of those many shows that I watched growing up that I have fond memories of, but I haven't really had much need to go back and watch them again. And so, yeah, I didn't even know this was a thing.
There were so many years that the Hanna-Barbera duo had basically dominated the Cartoon Network area for quite a few years. I mean, they literally had the child's imagination were all wrapped up in one network.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were the thing before the Hannah Cartoon Hour, you know. They were literally what kind of advanced Looney Tunes. I mean, Looney Tunes was part of the Hanna-Barbera era, you know.
Part of the era, yes,
but not the
it was a competing thing.
Now, I will say that the company did do some groundbreaking stuff because in animation, though their animation is lower quality, they were able to show how you can pull off an animated show on half the budget. Because they were the ones who pioneered reusing frames, reusing backgrounds, and doing that in a way that unless you're really looking for it, you don't notice it.
Right. And
that's they were part of my growing up because really, truly, their first era was before me, before my time.
Probably the Autobots.
Well, I mean, I grew up with Yogi Bear, Magilla Gorilla, and all those, that came out. I mean,
not as much Magilla for me, but definitely Flintstones, Jetsons, Yogi Bear. Those were ones, the big ones for me.
The Smurfs, the Snorkels,
and it wasn't. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong. They did Tom and Jerry, right?
No, Looney Tunes was
no. Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry are totally different.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they did Tom and Jerry.
Okay. I don't remember for sure.
I might be wrong.
And I definitely saw a lot of Looney Tunes growing up, and we mentioned Woody Woodpecker, but that was a whole other production company. That was Walter Lantz or whatever it was.
Yep, Walter Lantz. Yep.
So
I grew up basically with Woody Woodpecker and the regular Looney Tunes, and I remember Jetsons.
I know Hanna-Barbera was Scooby-Doo, and I want to say Inspector Gadget. Those I grew up with too.
Inspector Gadget.
Those two had two of the best theme songs ever. But anyway,
My great grandpa used to love to come down the hallway when I'd be there on the weekends, and he'd be going Scooby Scooby Doo.
but yeah. Anyway,
Happy power.
so my overall impression of this one, because I don't think I got to that, was it's good. I enjoyed it. It reminded me what it felt like how I remembered the show, which is probably a good thing. And it's I didn't remember Fred being such a jerk, but I think that is part of the plot of this one, is he has internalized Scrooge way too much. Although, am I remembering correctly that this show originally was sort of like a knockoff of the Honeymooners?
Yeah.
And I think so. There's sort of that vibe going on a little bit. And also, I didn't remember this. I don't know if y'all thought about this as you were watching. Isn't it kind of weird that Wilma seems to be the only one with really beady eyes? Like, I guess Barney kind of has them too.
Most of the NPC characters, I call them, have the beady eyes.
But you got Fred and Betty and the little kids all have these big expressive eyes, and then Barney and Wilma have the really beady ones. And I'm like, that's weird.
Creepy.
But anyway, as far as it being an adaptation of A Christmas Carol, I like the idea of doing it as a community theater production that kind of bleeds into real life. Like, it's a very meta concept that I would not have expected from this. So that was kind of neat, and I kind of appreciated that. And so it kind of falls somewhere in between your typical Christmas Carol that's like a straight adaptation, and then The Man Who Invented Christmas, which was more of a pseudo biopic where the characters are part of the story. And this one kind of falls somewhere in between the two, and that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. And overall, it was good. I don't really have, I guess, much more right up front, but it is an adaptation of Christmas Carol. It was good.
Okay.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that this was only came out in the 90s. I thought it was older than that. So that was something that I came across as like, okay, that wasn't that long ago, you know? But I remember this vividly in my mind.
It was 31 years ago.
I know. What I really think
Depends on your
about
definition.
that's when you start thinking, God, I'm getting old. But
I've been there. I am.
Same year.
I haven't gotten to that point where I can say that because Tammy has always called me a young pup, or you know, as far as she has more, she has a more
Watch where you tread,
experience, and the honor to say that I remember when that came out, you know, that kind of thing. See, I didn't remember that this came out during the 90s, but now that I know it, it's like, and now that you say the 31 one, then is like, I'm thinking, God, it's that old already. I mean, the fact that they call a 20-year-old car a classic these days, you know.
Oh yeah. You bring out a car from the 90s, that's an antique.
And the way kids talk these days, anything that's 6 months ago is already ancient, you know. Oh, that old thing.
Well, that's how the technology companies would have you believe it. You have a phone for 6 months, it's already outdated.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you just get a phone, and then suddenly the new
Yeah.
update makes everything, everything including a Zoom call,
Yeah.
obsolete because then your phone doesn't take the new technology update.
I
So
guess
we have these
my
two.
phone is ancient. My
We've
phone's
paired these two where we've paired a Grinch movie and a movie about Scrooge, and both of those words have entered the lexicon as descriptive words. And I think both of those words, the Grinch and a Scrooge, could be used to describe the people that run those companies.
Well, I guess my phone is ancient then, and it's going to be 4 years old in February.
Yeah, geez, my phone is probably 4 years old. I can't remember, but it feels ancient.
Well, everybody was when I got my phone, I got it for around my 50th birthday because everybody was saying how ancient the phone was that I had. So I got this one.
My dad got me this 16 iPhone 16 plus just a bit ago, and immediately, like a day later, I started hearing news about the 17, and I was like, "Well, fuck, Jesus Christ," you know?
Yeah,
Well,
we're
yeah, my
talking about
iPad,
upgrading ourselves, and that's like, oh my gosh! But I just got this phone; it's like 2 years old.
my iPad is only a couple years old, and evidently it's outdated.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you're either outdated, outgraded, obsolete,
but I know what you were saying, Kevin,
overqualified.
about
Mhm.
that. I remember things when they came out and stuff compared to you because I do have a few years on you.
Yeah, just
I
a
mean,
few.
I remember when CDs actually came out. You
Mhm.
know, when I was a teenager, it was cassettes, and it was, everybody had Walkmans, everybody had boom boxes, everybody had cassettes,
Mhm.
and the big
Mhm.
thing was um, having a nice tape deck at home that you could copy. You know,
Mhm.
tapes, and then or you could make your own mixtape. That was
Yeah,
that was that was all
we're
the
not that
rage.
far removed from that ourselves.
No, we're not, unfortunately.
But that was all the rage when I was a teenager, and then
Mm.
then all of a sudden CDs started hitting the thing, and it was like, wow, what's this? Yeah,
Yeah.
The
I mean,
compact disc.
I remember when my great grandparents got their first microwave when I was a
Mm.
kid, you know, and they got, because Nana and Papa they had money, so you know
Zing, zang, zoom.
they went and got a microwave, and my grandma has to come over, my mom has to everybody has to check this thing out, and I'm just a little kid going, okay.
Okay.
So yes, I do remember a lot of things differently. I
Mhm.
remember when Atari first came out because I had a friend that had it.
I
So
remember going to a family that homeschooled themselves, and they had an Atari unit with most of the games, including the Indiana Jones one. So I was lucky and able to
well,
actually
her
play some of
parents
that.
her parents
I,
had
I
money, so
remember
they
when
went
we
and
were
got the.
talking about a Flintstones Christmas Carol.
I remember that too. Man, that was a long time ago, man.
I know, right? But let's go. Let's get back to the main feature. We have gone way off track. Sorry. I guess that became a memory of okay, many different things. So, see, that's what's fun about these discussions. They have many different tangents. But yeah. So I don't know when I first saw this. I do remember watching this quite a bit when I was a kid, but it wasn't as memorable as to me how the Grinch Stole Christmas at the time. But I was heavily into watching the Jetsons and the Flintstones and Scooby Doo, and I didn't entirely get a chance to watch all of the Hanna Barbera stuff, but I did and was able to catch much of it. from time to time. So Hanna-Barbera, I do believe, had its day and had its time. So I am very familiar with Fred's family and Barney's family and Dino. They would always play. Hey, Fred. You know, uh, you definitely knew that, and I have heard that they were supposedly like spoofing the Honeymooners on the original Flintstones
Oh,
show.
they were definitely spoofing the Honeymooners. There is no doubt in my mind.
See, and
But
I didn't realize that at first. My great grandfather is the one that told me that when I was a kid. He was watching the Flintstones with me, and then the Honeymooners were going to be on, and he goes, "Well, watch this," and then I saw it,
Bad cat.
But as a
well,
kid, you don't
and I
really
do
realize
believe
it.
that Top Cat also came from Hanna-Barbera.
Yes, Top Cat was definitely Hanna-Barbera.
But I know that they've come out with a couple of animations with Top Hat since that weren't Hanna-Barbera. So but in any case, so back to this one. Fred is definitely being a penis throughout the whole thing. He's told to go pick up pebbles. The Barney uh, kind of reminds him about getting
Mhm.
pebbles and uh, Wilma presents.
Well,
And
basically, Fred has so committed himself to learning his lines that he's really not doing anything else.
nope, he's kind of kind of really being a douche to everyone around him too.
He's
Kind of
basically
getting into the character.
No,
got a one track mind.
Yeah.
All he's thinking about, and the only thing on his mind is being screwed.
An actor.
Yes.
I'll give him this though. He does a good job at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm reminded of the tagline for a movie we really need to cover one day. The Waiting for Guffman. There's a reason some talent remains undiscovered.
Yep.
Yes.
But as the film progresses, a lot of the characters that you would normally see in Fred Flintstone's life are telling him, "Oh, we're in the play too. Knock that shit off,"
Mhm.
And
They don't
even
say
his
it quite
bosses.
They don't say it quite that way because kids friendly movie.
Well, yeah, this is a PG-13 show.
Hey, I remember. Hey, the version I watched had a lot of S bombs and F bombs all throughout. It
Oh,
was
so
the, it was the
the
unrated version.
You had the director's cut.
Yeah. I mean, darn, Bam Bam, they had to censor him all the time. He was just laying down one F bomb after the other after the show. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't saying "bam bam." He was saying "damn damn."
Mhm.
Damn it, Janet. No, just
And then
kidding.
that line where Pebbles was showing off her moves from The Exorcist.
Oh yeah. Everyone got a kick out of how much pea soup she was drinking that day. But anyways,
Neither case.
but no, that is nothing like what was happening in here. He had enough brains to at least drop his daughter off at the daycare, but not pick her up, not even remember. And then he remembered halfway through while he was at what was supposed to be like the Flintstones version of Bloomingdale's. Which in reality, Bloomingdale's is like this rich place to go shop at a mall, if I remember correctly.
You spent it all on a freaking credit card.
I mean, I don't even think they're in existence anymore, are they? Bloomingdale's.
There's Bloomingdale's still.
There is.
In New York.
Okay, I didn't know whether there was or wasn't, but anyways, so I guess there's still Bloomingdale's out there, but what did they call it here?
Blooming Shales, I think it was.
Blooming Shales. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they love their rock puns.
right. So he gets his wife like a dress and Pebbles. I think he got something else. I forget exactly what it was, but he apparently
I think it was a bank or something. It was
a piggy bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got the last. He basically got the off the rack, or not the. What do I want to say? Display.
The sample display of the dress.
The display dress, because there was almost a fist fight over the remaining dresses right as he got there.
And there was a fat lady who grabbed a dress and said, "Oh, it's in my size too."
Yeah, right.
Even though you know damn well she couldn't even stretch that thing over her hips if she really wanted to.
There was always that, like, I mean, do people actually do that? I don't know if I've ever seen. Like, I'm sitting there watching Married with Children. There's always these people are like, "Oh, I can fit that in my feet." She grabs a size 2. She's like a size 20. I'm like, okay.
It's the power of positive thinking.
There's vanity, and then there's stupidity, and then there's insanity, which I think that at that point it borders on the last one.
What's that line from? What's that line from? Spinal Tap. I guess you could paraphrase it and say, like, there's a thin line between vanity and stupidity. Just to paraphrase it a little bit.
but he realizes that he's late for the play.
Yeah.
So he evidently makes a kid wait.
Yeah. Well, he finds a kid who's going to be waiting already and just fobs the ticket off on him.
And it turns out it's the same kid that also shovels his drive in the play, I think.
The kid that plays the little street urchin in the play, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. A little bit later down the road when while he's playing Scrooge. Now, Barney Rubble, he plays Bob Scratchit.
Mm-hmm.
Which
was Craggit, wasn't it?
Craggit, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to think of the name.
Yeah.
But Bob Craggit, which I think Barney plays his part to a T. Yeah. I think his part is very serviceable.
He plays a couple of characters, but I like how his wig for Craggit is basically his own hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the nephew that comes along. He's not too bad.
Ned?
Yeah, Ned. I mean, the nephew is always a positive character, or trying to get his Uncle Scrooge to come over.
Mm-hmm. I like how his boss also is like, they're like, why haven't you played Scrooge? He's like trying to show proof that he is not a Scrooge. I gave you the day off. Would Scrooge have given you the day off?
Well, no, he said he kind of wanted to, but people told him that they told him straight up.
Is better fit.
We didn't want you to feel typecast.
So they made him Bob. So they made him Marley instead. Yeah.
Right.
Except it wasn't Marley. It was Marbly.
Yeah, Marbly. Yeah.
So, but In any case, the story of Scrooge basically starts, and Wilma's pissed at him because he didn't pick up pebbles.
Well, she's pissed about a bunch of things, but that's one of them.
That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Barney's wife is always as pissed as Wilma because they're girls together.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, yeah, she has no problem telling Fred how mad Wilma is at him.
Mm-hmm.
let's see if I remember correctly. The Ghost of Christmas Past was supposed to be there in person, but she ended up having the bedrock bug.
Mm-hmm.
So Wilma had to step into the role, and I think that was great because then it pitch hitted her against him
Mm-hmm.
in ways that would satisfy some of her anger towards him.
Oh yeah, she did a good job of that.
And also, it's probably fortunate for Fred's health that the woman who clearly was flirting with him, who was going to be his aim true love, fell sick right before she went on stage, and Wilma had to take that role too. It's like, I gotta say, this bedrock bug was no joke.
No, which is why I kind of fairly accurately said something. This is kind of like the Rona, you know.
Well, even the Rona didn't usually hit that fast and hard. They did sometimes, but not.
It did in this neck of the woods. There were people who were dropping like flies. So,
yeah, I did like. I noticed, like, as it goes along, this year I actually did something I haven't done since I was in high school. I went ahead and I revisited A Christmas Carol. I mean, it was free on Audible, so I went ahead and did it. It's actually narrated by Hugh Grant of all people, which is makes it even more interesting in my opinion. He does a really good job with it, and it's interesting to see.
He does all the parts.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at it and I see how some are more accurate to the book than others. And it is interesting to see how accurate the book is. I mean, how accurate it is, like with certain ones, like to take certain things, like that school scene. It's rare to see it done. I've seen it in a couple of them, but not in as many as I would think, not especially not the famous ones. And of course, you see it in this. You also see it in Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, which is rare. And of course, in that really dark one that y'all showed us the other year.
Oh yeah,
the FX presents.
I kind of wish that one. I kind of wish I could have seen it because that one was put together in what would have been like an episodal thing, you know, like more than it actually put on.
That one was actually further away from the book because of how dark it was.
I like that one.
I specifically like the way it portrays the partner in crime to Scrooge. And the way that part was presented, like I felt like that part was done really well in that adaptation.
Now keep in mind how much I like an adaptation and how close to the book are not relevant, because my favorite adaptation is nothing like the book for the most part. That's Mickey's Christmas Carol. So but I mean, and one of my favorite Scrooges is a bit too dark for the book. And that's Christopher Plummer in The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Yeah, I still have not seen that one.
That'd be a good one to do next year as well if you're looking for a Christmas Carol adaptation.
Right.
Well, we'll both have to get a copy of it then. The Man Who what?
The Man Who Invented Christmas. It's Charles Dickens essentially, and kind of a idealistic telling of Scrooge.
The process of writing the book, essentially, but the fictionalized version of it. But the idea being that Dickens liked to visualize his characters and actually converse with them as he was writing, which was an interesting concept.
Oh yeah, I really liked it, and Christopher Plummer to me is probably the Scrooge.
Right. Although now you've put in my brain the idea that Hugh Grant would be a good Scrooge. He probably would be.
Actually, yeah, and I mean it's very weird when I look at the book and I realize that Scrooge was not quite as bad as a lot of them do. He actually, I mean, he softens towards the idea is like maybe I've been too wrong after the first spirit talks to him.
Right.
Okay, so the one that I remembered from a feature films for family one was the Ghosts of Dickens Past. So that one also had something to do with Charles Dickens and the events that led to his inspiration to write his greatest story. So if you guys put that one forward, I will put that one forward. So, but in any case, of course, the story of the Christmas Carol is one that is as timeless as and it's basically a cult novel, you know. A man, a miser, has often been portrayed as the meanest, most unforgiving man who only cares about saving money and not giving his workers any coal or anything like that. That he's always been portrayed, Ebenezer Scrooge, as an evil man because of the way he the way he keeps his money so close to his chin.
He would probably prefer the term legitimate businessman.
Yes. But instead, he's kind of a man and doesn't share. So,
no, he does not like to share. Does not like it one bit.
And he comes from the world of Bailey and Barnum. His most favorite word, humbug. Bah, humbug is his favorite phrase. But apparently, the story of A Christmas Carol has always had a Marley of sorts, a business partner that often has, and I think it's normally right around like 7 years or so, that he has been dead for. And
if I recall correctly, I think the book actually opens with the line Marley was dead to begin with, or
as
something.
dead as a doornail.
Yes. Yeah.
But oftentimes it'll have a nephew who comes and tries to get him to come to his Christmas.
Right.
He didn't marry money. He married for love.
Yes.
And oftentimes it's this nephew that is the basically the offspring of his dead sister.
Yes.
And there are some versions that show when she died and how much of a relationship that he had with her and how close he was with her.
Even the book didn't show how she died. It just said that she died. So it's kind of cool to see.
Did the book mention how close they were at one point in time?
It did, because it shows how close they are with the scene where she's taking him from the school, and you can see how much he means to her, and how that was pretty much one of the few people that he was still soft towards. And that was illustrated in the book.
Well, yeah.
At that
If I
point,
remember correctly, the true story was the fact that not Charles, that Ebenezer Scrooge was actually sold in indentureship to the school by the father for money.
And the book just leaves it kind of open-ended to where you have to make that interpretation.
Correct.
They don't tell you right out in the book. They just say that he is stuck there and that she is bringing him home.
Yeah. But of course, at this point, he's not really bitter so much as sad. Like, he feels sad and lonely, but still.
That's why I like that Mr. Magoo one, which the song is that, like, When You're Alone in the World, which I thought was really good for that.
Is this the portion, the scene that in the Muppets one involved Sam the Eagle, right? This was
yes.
Yes. For business, it's the American way.
It is the British way.
British way.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was fun.
Yes, headmaster. But each adaptation is definitely a little bit different. This one has the business partner being played by Mr. Slate. And well, he comes along with his chain, and he definitely does say the lines.
His chain wasn't as long as usual, although
No.
it was pretty hefty. It was definitely hefty, but
no, but he definitely had the towel on his head.
So this begins an interesting part of this movie, which is it's a little bit unclear how much of this is potentially Fred just being borderline insane, and how much of it is the animators just decided, okay, we'll just play it like we're just telling the story, because they're ghosts that are transparent, they're going through stuff, all this stuff. And I'm like, if this is community theater and they're pulling off these effects.
I was gonna say, well, the budget on that community theater was amazingly big.
Right. But ultimately, Mr. Marbley basically goes through the same lines that Jacob Marley would have. He basically tells him that mankind should have been his business and charity and things of that nature. And I bore these chains in life, link by link,
We kind of passed a couple of the illustrations of Scrooge's lack of empathy for those around him. And it really, this version did include the line that I've always been intrigued by, where they talk about giving alms for the poor or whatever. And Scrooge is like, are there no poorhouses or whatever? And then they talk about that, and he's like, some people would be too ashamed to go to the poorhouse, or they'd rather die. And Scrooge is just like, well, then they should get on it and decrease the surplus population,
Yeah.
Like, it's such an empathetic statement.
Yeah, and that one is definitely from the book.
Yeah.
And it is iconic too in the story. So
right.
I also love how the line, and Tiny Tim, who did not die, which said there, is actually from the book directly. which I think is just funny. And Tiny Tim, who did not die.
A lot of them were directly, and of course you have the whole thing of him berating Craggett for wanting to use coal so that he's not frozen and that kind of thing. Yeah. I felt like usually before, this was one of the few versions where it doesn't feel like Cratchit is practically begging for Christmas off. It feels like Scrooge already knows it's coming and isn't even worried about it. He just still wants to complain. Yeah, that famous line about it's a poor excuse to pick a man's pocket one day every year. He still has that line. But I feel like Craggett got his day off with a lot less whining from Scrooge than usual.
It's like, yeah. You won the day off. All right.
Right.
I'll go do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so basically, he is basically told that he will be haunted by 3 more spirits before the night has ended, and oftentimes it's either at midnight or 1 o'clock. But no matter what, it starts when the bell tolls 1.
I think I'm pretty sure this is not the only version where Scrooge says something to the effect of, "Can't they all come at once and get it over with?"
Yeah. Well, he says it in the book.
Yeah.
The thing I find interesting in the book that I have never seen in an adaptation is the way that they have the passage of time. Is they all come at 1, but they all come at 1. What appears to be different nights, and that whole loss of function at time later on is because he's like hitting 1 o'clock each time that he wakes up, and so it's like a different day to him each time, and the loss of it and the confusion. That part I have yet to see ever adapted lately, but that's always fun.
There is one thing that occurred to me this time, and I feel like it's occurred to me before, but I don't know if it's occurred to me as aggressively as it did this time, if that's the right way to put it. That when the ghost of Christmas Present comes by, it's not fully accurate because this is the middle of the night. But he's taking them to parties that are taking place on the following day. So it's not really Christmas present. It's Christmas near future. But, it's close enough. But they did include the comment about how his time on Earth was short. They didn't go into as much depth as some of the other versions, but yeah.
There have always been 30 billion before me, or some shit like that.
Something like that.
But I wasn't impressed with the Ghost of Christmas Present this time around. I feel like the "Come and Know Me Better" man was lost on Fred, or it didn't even happen. I don't think. I feel like they kind of just wanted to plow right through to the Christmas future just a little bit with the, but we do get the whole moment where he got to know Bob Craggett and his family, and. What's funny is that they somewhat have half of Fred's family with them in the house, because Pebbles is one of their kids, and Dino is the pet, So it's like Fred is seeing half of his family in this whole thing, and I wonder if some of it is like meshing in his mind a bit like. While he's acting like Scrooge, But what did y'all think about any of the adventures that he went on with at least the first 2 ghosts? With Wilma's presentation of the Ghost of Christmas Past and The way that Fezziwig's I forget, was that the name of the?
And Barney was Fezziwig too, right? Am I remember?
Yeah, he was Fezziwig too.
Yeah, that time he didn't. His hair wasn't his wig.
Right.
It felt
He
kind
changed
of
wigs,
rushed
yes.
to me, but that was me. I could tell that they were rushing for time because they had a lot to do. So they just kind of moved it back and forth. Like, I didn't get much time at any of those places, in my opinion. But
Well, that was another thing that I thought. Back to the whole, is this really community theater bit? Fred is playing the younger Scrooge as well as playing the
Yeah.
Scrooge looking at the scenes. And it's like, how did they pull that off? And it's like, wouldn't it have been more logical to have a different actor play the younger Scrooge? You know? It's
Yeah, that would have been common sense, but
That's
common
probably
sense went
more-
out the door.
I'm thinking that's probably more analysis than they expected from their target audience, but you know.
oh yeah, they're the kids that are watching this aren't going to be thinking about this stuff.
No. In fact, the quicker that it goes, the quicker the kids can go to sleep, right?
Yeah, right.
But you can definitely feel like they rushed through some of these parts.
Yeah.
As a person and an audience to it now, I kind of wish they would have spent more time fleshing out the Scrooge story. But I get why they were crunching it down in this hour flick. It wasn't about telling the story of Scrooge entirely. It was telling the story of Fred and how he was becoming Scrooge and kind of like his personage afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just about the Christmas Carol itself, but Fred also had to hit rock bottom within and have that fight with Wilma in order to understand, he was kind of being a dick, and get his head out of the clouds and realize that his family should mean more, and it was thanks to the kid and the Christmas spirit that shoveled his driveway away that he got the presents for his wife and child to begin with. At first, he was like, at the end of the whole thing, hey, what do I owe you? Don't worry about it. It's Christmas, But what did y'all think about the fact that that we found out that that Christmas Future was played by Dino?
Hey,
Yeah,
I think the tail gave it away.
I was gonna say the tail gave it away for me.
I was wondering what was going on too, because you can see that there was something other than a person underneath that.
Well, and apparently it was supposed to be the police officer, and
the flu.
he got the bedrock bug too. I gotta say that is probably the most chill cop.
Yeah.
It's like Fred was getting away with some stuff.
Well, yeah, he literally, when he was on the way to the play, he ran a red light.
Yeah,
and he literally stopped him, and he was like, "Oh, Fred, it's you,"
I didn't realize it was Dino at first, but I knew something was up because I'm like, since when does the the character have something protruding from like his back?
right.
But I think Dino ended up doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, I think so.
It was an interesting plot point that everybody just kept getting sick.
Yeah, it was.
But see, that was yes, everybody kept getting sick, but that's kind of what the Christmas spirit was all about with this play. Everybody kept getting sick, and other people kept taking over the parts to make the play go on. They all worked together, and they made the play go on even with people getting sick, which is the actual part of the spirit.
Yep. The show must go on no matter what. And then, of course, it is just perfect that Fred gets the bedrock bug at the end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
He does seem to have that whole apparently his whole run-in with the Ghost of Christmas Future changes his mind about how he was with his family and all that. But I don't quite understand that. Felt like it was a bit quick to resolve. I kind of sort of see it in the kindness he was getting from some of the others, maybe.
Well, I agree with David though that the Ghost of Present was a little quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always, and every time that ghost is portrayed, he's always, a big guy, and he's always
More flamboyant.
and jolly, and
Almost like a fat version of the Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah.
And the way he was in this, it just wasn't quite right, and it was too quick.
But in any case, is there anything else that you guys think that I have missed in this whole discussion on this film that maybe you'd like to see brought to life?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
I think we got it mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Like I say, I don't quite get the moment that changed Fred's mind about things, but
I don't quite get the moment either because I think he's just going to end up being the same old redneck version of a caveman that we always know.
The one random well, I don't know if it's random, but interesting because like one of the through lines, the reason Fred was acting the way he was anyway, theoretically, was his I've got this big role and I'm going to do it justice and all this stuff. And he genuinely doesn't get why Wilma's so pissed because, like, I'm doing everything right. I'm saying my lines well, and and then like they make it through. There are some flubs. He and Wilma have some times where they accidentally call each other by name because she keeps showing up when he doesn't expect her to because she keeps taking on all these new roles, but at the end of the night, the one person who really flubs our line was Bam Bam, who's playing Tiny Tim. And he had the big, God bless us everyone or whatever. And he gets stage fright. And Pebbles walks up and says the line for him. And it works, but it's like.
It's so cute.
Yeah. But it was kind of an interesting way to tie it up. But yeah.
Alrighty. Well, at the end of everything, what did y'all think about production overall?
It was good.
I mean, yeah.
About what you'd expect, I think.
After watching The Grinch, I feel like we had... This felt more like just your typical cheap cash grab, which, you see from these. I mean, it was like, yeah, let's Flintstones, something to put on for the kids, and it's fine like that. But, I don't really feel like there was a ton of effort put into it. I just feel like it was
a rushed job, to be fair and honest. They needed to flesh out more time with each of the ghosts a little bit, so that maybe it might have been a better quality of a Charles Dickens adaptation.
Well, and I think Brandon mentioned earlier how Hanna-Barbera would sometimes like recycle things. Like, I know there's a couple of sound effects. I know there's a couple of sound effects that they used repeatedly that they've had for decades, and they just trotted out some of the old sound effects. So some of that stuff, yeah, you can tell that they didn't go out of their way for it.
Well, did you realize how many Christmas specials there are for the Flintstones?
There's a few of them.
There's quite a few of them.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's
A lot of celebrating a holiday that doesn't exist in their timeline.
But I will say this, according to what you guys were just saying about this might have been sort of a cheap attempt to put something out for the kiddies. Based on what I've seen, which isn't a huge amount, but what I've seen, contemporary, let's just put something on for the kids. The production values on this were much higher than a lot of what's coming out now.
Well, now.
Yeah. You know, I mean, seriously, the stuff they put out just for kids is crap. The stuff they put out with more of a, this could be a family audience, tends to be a little better.
I think the last thing that I liked cartoon-wise was Johnny Bravo.
I doubt that was just for kids, though. Wasn't that more of a mixed audience thing?
Probably, but still, it was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
That and Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost was definitely not aimed at kids.
That was not for kids. Like teens at the best. Yeah.
I don't get into any like the cartoons, like newer cartoons that you watch, but I have gotten into cartoon movies like How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, and again, that's not aimed at kids. That's aimed at families.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
How to Train Your Dragon is based on books for older kids, but it's a They're but what y'all were saying about
the Secret Life of Pets.
that may have been a little bit of a younger audience.
Yeah. Still enjoyable, but yes.
But even so, like the one animated film that I've seen in theaters, I would say 2 that I've seen in theaters that I would genuinely say were aimed at children. There are only 2. And one of them was a Ghibli film, so it had that multiple age in mind. But Ponyo was aimed at kids. But the way Miyazaki makes films is not just for kids. Home was a little just more for kids. But
I haven't seen that one yet.
I've seen several animated films in theaters that are absolutely appeal to many audiences.
Most of the ones in theaters do because they know that parents have to bring these kids to these things.
Exactly. Yeah. They need something to glomp on. Pixar has mastered that, and so is Ghibli. You know, they know, you know, that. But what I'm thinking, when you guys say though, something like a cash grab just to put something on for the kids, I think about your typical Barbie or Lego, not Lego movie because that was freaking awesome, but like the basic.
Everything is awesome.
like every Harry Potter film after the first one?
No. I'm talking like truly produced for the kiddies. And I would say if y'all are going to, based on what I've seen of those, like you go into Wegmans and they're playing Peppa Pig, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, I think
this is
a cash grab is any animation that was stuck strictly to video.
In some cases, because there are some straight to video ones that were pretty damn good, but you know, it depends on the circumstance. But,
yeah, it depends.
And then you have ones that go to theaters that were blatant cash grabs. That's definitely not the defining, you know. But anyway.
I thought the production was good. I think it, you know, it stayed with the characters that we all know,
right?
You know, and everything. So, and I understand. I hear what you're saying about some of the sound effects and stuff. Like, when it was lunchtime and the whistle blew.
You're right.
that was normal.
Like the sound they do where they spin their feet, and they're getting ready to go
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
The normal sound effects that you're used to hearing. Even Dino's noises, and
Mhm. And y'all said most of the cast was returning from previous ones, right? Except apparently Betty is always played by a different actress. But yeah, and then John Rhys Davies is the narrator. I think he did a good job as the narrator. he, he was fun in that role.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
So, I think at the end of everything, let's see. What did y'all think about the music overall?
well, this is another one that has a pretty classic theme song, and they did incorporate it into the music. They gave it sort of that old-fashioned Burl and Ives Christmas theme mixed with the Flintstones theme, and it worked out.
Okay. Let's see. Just looking to see if they had any real songs. Okay, so here's some trivia to go out there. The final full-length Flintstones project for the original voice of Wilma, Gene Vanderpill. So that was an original voice. Bam Bam Rebel, Don Mezek, and the longest-running voice of Fred Flintstone, Henry Corden, the second Fred from 1977 to 2000. John Stevenson, the original voice of Mr. Slate, would later voice. Sorry about that. The character in the Flintstones on the Rocks, whereas death is usually the cause of a replacement actor for the Flintstones, with the notable exception of Betty Rebel, who had two different voices in the original series, and has been voiced by a different actress in virtually every new Flintstones incarnation. Corden was not asked to return for that project, making the longest-running Fred and Wilma's swan song. Philo Courts originated in the television series The Flintstone Kids. Just so you know, this special marks his only appearance as an adult. And the final Flintstones film to be created and produced by the original Hanna-Barbera Productions. So this was the final film that was played. The play was narrated by a man named Mr. Beckins. This was the obvious reference to Charles Dickens, author of the original version of The Christmas Carol. And when the film was proposed, Mr. Slate was in the Scrooge role, but it was changed to put more emphasis on the main Flintstone characters. The community theater production plotline was supposed to have Fred suddenly being rich, and without Wilma makes more sense. So, other than that, did anyone else have anything else to add before we go into favorite scenes and or favorite characters? Okay, let's go and ask you, Brandon. What was your favorite character and our favorite scene in Flintstones Christmas Carol? Hello?
Oh, I had mine on mute. That's why.
Okay.
Okay, my favorite is usually Barney when it comes to Christmas. Flintstones. My favorite character. Let me start. My favorite scene. Man, I kind of like how he was rushing over to the Bloomingdale's and getting everything put away. Then having that reoccur with the kid showing up at the presents. I did like that touch.
Okay. Is that pretty much it then?
That was it.
All righty. Heading over to you, Tammy. What was your favorite scene or scenes and or favorite character?
My favorite character is Dino.
Okay.
He's so
And favorite
he's
scene
so cute. He's so cute, and I think he actually did a good job being the ghost.
of Christmas Future?
Yeah. Favorite
So
scene.
you weren't confused about the bulge in his back end?
I was wondering why there was a bulge there until you realized that it was Dino.
Phrasing.
But favorite scene. I think my favorite scene is when Fred breaks into the store and yeah, everything goes wrong as he's breaking in and everything, and um, then he runs into the officer that's actually supposed to be playing the ghost, of Christmas Future, and so and then he lets him off, but.
Okay. What about you, Jake? Favorite scene and or favorite characters?
I guess I would go with. I guess I'll go with Barney as a favorite character. Although, again, I did like the narrator. I think and I like John Rhys Davies, so I think he did. He was kind of interesting, but I guess I'll go with Barney as favorite. Favorite scene. Uh, Possibly the. I'm not really entirely certain. I agree with Tammy. The where the guy shows up and it's like the Ghost of Christmas Future. That was kind of cool. And I did like how they had the quote unquote silent alarm, and it was just the little mini pterodactyl flew away to get a cop. I was like,
Right.
that was kind of neat.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go with that. And I do always like that line about decreasing the surplus population. I just like that line, and so that part always sticks in my mind. But yeah.
Alrighty, and I'm going to have to go with favorite character being. I guess my favorite characters have kind of somewhat been between Dino, Pebbles, and Bam Bam. Bam Bam is complete entire. In a way, he's like the pre-Groot, because most of his intellectual conversation and dialogue is Bam Bam, but Bam Bam is like universal. So just like Groot's whole in the Marvel universe, his whole language is "I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot." So to me, they are fairly similar characters in having two entire universal languages that mean exactly the same thing.
The backstory of the I am Groot is much more tragic.
Yes, very true. But I still feel like there's a comparison in there somewhere that hopefully it's relaying better than I think it was. But as far as favorite scene, I do enjoy when Pebbles comes out and says Bam Bam's line. And I do enjoy when Fred actually gets the bedrock bug. For some reason, that whole like backstory story of the bedrock bug just dropping everyone like flies is what gets me every time. You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of what brings everyone together in the story to begin with. With, and it's kind of goes to a whole line about show business that there's no business like show business, and you know the show must go on. You know, kind of thing. But in any case, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion on both of these features. I'm glad that we were able to entertain with ourselves with them, regardless. Um, if you haven't seen them, go out and see them. And then let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion and what you thought of these features and whether they are in your Christmas repertoire. Um, that is something that always seems to be the conundrum of what Christmas movies that you always end up have on your Christmas list to watch.
That's how it is.
There are a lot of Christmas movies out there. But in any case, did anyone else have anything else to add? Is there anything that we need to know about next week?
I'm good.
Next week is our annual, reflection, I guess you could say. It's going to be weird next year because we'll be starting Christmas at the end of November, because November has 5 Mondays and December has 4. But I think it's going to be interesting. So next week we're going to be looking at everything we've covered this year and rating it to discuss which ones we thought as a unit were the best of the best. Only one. No, not really. But only a number of them will be at the top of the list. And which ones will be at the bottom? I can tell you Skeleton Key is probably not going to be getting my vote, even though I picked it. But that's next time.
Alrighty. Well, on that note, hopefully everyone has a good, happy holidays. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I do believe it's on a Wednesday this year. So
all of that. Yep.
Thursday, but yes.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, Christmas Eve is Wednesday. Christmas Day is Thursday. So.
Well, I know, but some people open gifts on Christmas Eve. So Christmas is to me starts on Wednesday. But in any case, everyone have a great evening and enjoy.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Good night.
Night all.
Inside movies galore, just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.